I went to my first Pokemon card show to get a taste of the action, to start my first Pokédex binder, and to see if someone on a budget can hold space there too. Hey, thanks for tuning in. My name is Chris. I'd like to think of myself as a very casual Pokemon collector. I had a few cards back in the 90s, whatever my parents could kind of scrounge up and purchase for me, but I didn't have like a binder or like a full blown collection like a lot of my friends have. So I always just felt like that was something that I never got to experience that was kind of really just out of reach for me, unfortunately. So fast forward to recently, I started seeing more and more card show content and Pokemon content online. So it really got me interested in seeing what was going on and why this was popping off the way it was. So I wanted to get back into collecting, but I realized as I did more and more research that there are a lot more Pokemon out there than the original 151 I grew up with. Over 1,000? So without going overboard, I wanted to ease back into this in a way that felt fun, realistic, and attainable for me. So for me, instead of chasing sets and different packs and whatnot that I don't know what's inside and I don't know what Pokemon they are, I decided I was going to build my own version of a Pokédex. And I was going to find pretty much any version of the original 151 Pokemon that I could find. And when I saw there was a free card show in Woodbridge, I figured this was a great way for me to ease back in and start collecting and also meeting people in this community. You know what, just for fun, because all of the people on the social medias are doing it, I'm gonna rip a pack open just for like pregame before I actually get into the card show here at Woodbridge Center Mall, Woodbridge, New Jersey. I have a pack of XY Steam Siege. Let's do a little rip open, see what's happening here. And I'm really such a noob. Like, I'm very new to this. I have no clue what's happening. I have no real knowledge about new Pokemon or anything. So my main goal is really to just get in here and do like the original 151 and see what's happening. So I don't even know who... I don't know who she is. I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is. I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are. This looks like a really cool card, although I don't know who they are. Don't know who they are. Don't know who they are. But I got a Rapidash, which is really awesome, so I could put the Rapidash into my 151 Pokédex collection for Kanto region. And then we'll check out this card show. I'm very intrigued to see the vibes and what's happening. So upon walking into the Woodbridge Center Mall and seeing my first set of tables, what really impressed me was the size and how big the actual show was. It wasn't just one section, it was spread across 2 full floors of the mall. There were tables everywhere, and pretty much all of them were filled with cards, slabs. There were also other vendors there, and they were selling Funko Pop, comic books, some other like art and stuff like that. So that was really, really cool to see. I got there early, so it wasn't too crowded yet, which made it really easy to walk around and take everything in. The space itself, it felt open. The walkways were nice and wide. I really didn't feel cramped at all when more and more people started showing up later in the day. But overall, the show floor layout was a lot larger and expansive than I thought, so honestly, that was really cool to see. Going into this show, I gave myself a very clear budget, $100. Since it was my first time, I didn't want to go overboard. I just wanted to get a feel for things and pick up a few cards to start building this Pokédex. So is it really that important to have a budget when you go to these shows? If it's important to you, yeah. If it's not, then that's fine. It, there's no rules to this. Like I kind of just made up my own rule that I wanted to do a Kanto Pokédex. So those are just my guidelines. So if it's important to you to have a budget, great. Uh, if not, then I mean I'm really happy for you and I'm glad for you. I think that's awesome. I'll probably work my way up to that one day. But for me, having a budget is cool. Just kind of keeps me in check and keeps me in line. So I could really stay focused and level headed and grounded on what my actual goals were going there. One thing that stood out to me was how friendly and openly welcoming a lot of the vendors were. It was first thing in the morning, and maybe their monsters were just hidden like at that moment that I walked in, but it was pretty awesome. If I had a question or was just browsing, the vendors were more than happy to help. Just asking what I was looking for and pointing me in the right direction. Even a simple "Hey, how's it going?" It really kind of just elevates the experience and makes it all feel just so super welcoming. At one point, my sister actually met up with me at the show, and we were walking around, and we came across a booth called Scarlet Gray TCG. So they had this really fun game setup where you'd walk over and you'd start a timer from zero, and then you'd have to stop it exactly at 5 seconds. So at first we walked by, and I was like, "Yeah, no, there's no way I'm hitting that." And then my sister went ahead and tried it. Uh, so she convinced me, along with the vendors at the table, to kind of come over and just check it out and try it. And yeah, somehow I actually hit it.
Oh, what? That's crazy. All right, what do we got? All righty.
Choice over here. Pick whichever one you want.
Want to try it?
Yeah, let's go top up here.
For what?
Yeah.
You can try it.
Can we take a picture? You're our first winner today.
Wow, that is nuts. Yeah, let's do it.
So I ended up being their first winner of the day, which was really cool. And I got a Japanese pack out of it. So I mean, that was amazing. So shout out to Scarlet Gray TCG. I mean, that was a really fun moment at that show. So thank you so much for putting that together and doing that. I think that's so cool that you have that going on at your shows. A little after that, we came across a booth called TCG Treasures. What stood out about that booth was we saw a sign that said, get a prize for a follow. So we followed immediately to see what was happening, and they gave us each a card at random out of this pile. So we each got a card, which was pretty cool. But even better, we met Bruno at the table, and Bruno, we got to chatting with him about Lorcana because we saw that he had Lorcana listed as stuff that he deals with in terms of TCG, along with Pokemon and all the other things happening. So got to talking with Bruno about Lorcana. I got to see a few of his cards that he had in the display, which was awesome. And I mean, the cherry on top, I guess because he thought we were really cool and whatnot, he literally just gave my sister a pack of Lorcana. So shout out to Bruno and TCG Treasures for being amazing. I also wanted to shout out Fly Cards, specifically Christina from Fly Cards. While I was doing my first lap, I got to talk to Christina. She was one of the vendors that just said, "Hey, how's it going?" Just being super friendly. And I told Christina about my goal of building out a Kanto Pokédex, and she was just really cool and really encouraging about it. Just kind of just chatting me up about like what my thoughts are about it and what my goals are. So I came back the second or third lap around with my sister, and I ended up buying a Japanese pack from her, honestly, just to support the booth. It was kind of just my way of contributing back to somebody that kind of found out that I was a newbie and just wanted to share their passion with me. So, again, thank you to Christina and Fly Cards for, just being awesome people, awesome human beings. And another cool reason to go to these shows, we ran into Pokeshawn 151 at this show. So we ran over to say hi, and he's exactly what you see in the videos that he posts online. He's genuine. He's so kind. He did a full stop and he just wanted to, talk to us, meet us, and like genuinely have a conversation with us, which was really, really cool to see. I mean, like he should have told us, "Hey, it's a cool show, and I'm on my way out." But I mean, he didn't give the vibe like he was trying to leave. He was just having a conversation with us, talking with us, and again, shout out to Pokeshawn 151 for being a cool dude in person. It was really cool to meet you. And again, another reason to go to these shows because you'll really never know who you're going to bump into. Moments like the ones highlighted in my stories kind of just remind me that there are some really good people in this space. And it makes the whole show feel a lot less intimidating and really kind of gives a better understanding of what that sense of community is here in, the card show community. One thing I kept noticing while walking around was all the attention put on the big slabs, the high-end ETBs. Honestly, that's really cool to see. I mean, there's people in this community operating at a really high level. At the same time, it could feel a little intimidating for somebody just getting back into the hobby and working on a budget. But what I realized pretty quickly is that there are different levels to this, and that's actually what makes it great. There's this one booth that we stopped at that caught our eye immediately because they had $1 binders and a full binder of 25-cent hollows. So that booth was ran by the Gathering House. That's a shop out of Edison, New Jersey. So shout out to the Gathering House because I dove right into that binder and I started just pulling cards with their permission because there were a lot of cool things in there, especially the 25-cent hollows. So again, shout out to the Gathering House Edison for having some really cool cards in those binders. There was a second vendor that I got most of my cards from, and that vendor was Chop Ruff. And Chop Ruff, they also had a dollar binder and a 25-cent binder that I just dove right into. And it was really awesome to kind of flip through their collection and see a lot of Pokemon that I was looking for. I think the biggest joy of kind of flipping through those binders was just seeing the names. It was almost like seeing old friends kind of just like traveling through tall grass, and all of a sudden you see these names and it's almost like connecting kind of two parallels together, which is nuts, like my childhood and like my current self, and just being able to almost make that weird interesting connection of like kind of looking back and kind of realizing, oh wow, this is a whole experience of realizing a goal that my younger self kind of just gave up on and thought I'd never be able to do this. And here I am in my present self, and I'm collecting Pokemon cards in a manner that again, my younger self kind of just gave up on and thought like, I'll never be able to collect 151 Pokemon cards. That's like a million cards. That's impossible. But here I am in the present doing it. So another cool reason to kind of jump in and do something fun like filling out a Kanto Pokédex. All right, let's talk about the haul. Let's see what I ended up with. Altogether, I picked up close to 100 cards, which honestly blew me away. I mean, that's a major win for the first show, which is, so cool. One of the first things I did when I got home is I just wanted to sleeve everything that was not in a sleeve. Even though these aren't high value cards, I mean, they're still my Pokemon. I still want to make sure I take care of them. I mean, it's not a high value collection per se. It's really just for fun. It's just for my own personal collection and whatever sentimental value they have for me. So I just want to make sure that they're taken care of and they're in sleeves. There's some vendors that have their cards already pre-sleeved. Like, I mean, Chop Ruff is like a vendor that I purchased from where every single thing I bought from them was in a sleeve. So honestly, it shows a level of care, like even for low cost or budget cards that they have them in sleeves. So that really kind of speaks volumes and goes a long way. If a vendor has their cards in sleeves, it's not really putting down other vendors. I'm really just talking about the vendors that have their cards in sleeves already. Goes to show you, who's taking care of their stuff. So with Chop Rough, I spent $28 to pick up a couple cards from them. And the other place that I purchased from, the Gathering House, I got a whole bunch of the holos that I have from them. And along with that, I saw a really cool surfing Pikachu. I saw this like kind of full art, like chunky Pikachu that I wanted to get because I thought it was really cute. And then I saw a Mew that I wanted to purchase. So picked those singles up, but then got a whole bunch of my stock, like almost 60 cards from their hollow budget bin, and spent only like 35 bucks from that booth, which was incredible. The coolest part about looking at this haul, it really fits into the goal that I had of going after and capturing the original Kanto Pokemon. So being able to look at all the cards and understand what the theme is immediately is pretty cool. Maybe for some people, it's kind of interesting looking at it because it's different sets, different eras while you're looking at the Pokemon. But for me, it definitely fulfills my goals in terms of like, what do I come across? What do I find? And does it just check off the boxes of the Pokemon that I'm trying to catch and find? And it did. And being able to sit down, sleeve everything, count everything, organize everything, and really start filling that binder out, that was probably the most fulfilling thing about this whole process, going to the show, bringing these cards home, and starting to chip away at this awesome goal that I have. So did I have a great time at this card show? Yes, I did. But as far as me and my experience at this card show for being a first timer, although card shows can look intimidating, they're really not as scary as they seem. If you go in with a goal, take your time and just talk to people, talk to vendors, it could really be a fun and super welcoming experience. After this, I definitely want to keep going to more shows and keep building out my Pokédex. It feels like there's never been a better time to jump back into this hobby. And again, as far as what I'm doing, like I mentioned, I'm building out my own type of Pokédex. So it's just the Kanto region Pokédex of the original 151 Pokemon. Is there anybody out there doing it, or anybody that's doing something similar? Chime in the comments. Let me know, what you're building out or kind of like what you're chasing. I'd love to kind of hear about what you're doing in terms of your binder. If you recently went to your first card show, I'd love to hear how your experience was. Drop it in the comments below. Hopefully it was a cool experience like I had. Would just love to hear your input about like how your first card show went. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Chris, and remember, there's never a better time than now to reconnect with the things that you love.